Hello, my name is Umberto Agnello and I come from Italy, exactly from Sicily. I started to work as a photographer in the mid-80s in Milano, when the Made in Italy and the fashion designer were famous in the world. So I started taking fashion pictures and I continuing for about 12 years to do fashion. I found boring to do always the same thing, so I started to travel a lot, and step by step I started to do other kind of pictures like portrait or landscape or architectural pictures, and also reportage. And I always interesting mix every kind of pictures in only one project, like a book or a big exposition. In parallel with my professional work, I always develop my artistic work, and another thing that I've been doing for more than 30 years is teaching photography at NABA Art Academy in Milano. This project want to tell the difficult of living for people, but also the difficult of living for a building, for the architectural, for the nature, for everything. And I want to go inside real place and people to tell their stories and their suffering. And I try to install their gaze, and I intruded in their thought, in their life. I want to photograph them like there was a stage photography in a theatrical play with a real actor that tell about their stories. The first idea of this project was very different. I had planned to take architectural pictures, like other part of a big project called Cemento, and so I plan to do architectural picture. And then I involved a client with whom there is a trust relationship to produce some of this work in a little known European capital. And I'm speaking with a friend of mine who is a writer and translator and globetrotter also, who is living in Riga at that time, Riga in Latvia. And she encouraged me to take photos. This photo is in Riga, an interesting city on the Baltic. So I left to Riga, and the series would be called Riga Buildings. I am arrived in Riga at first time in June 2018, and I started following the program that I planned from Italy, buildings and bridges, and according to the decade that I already knew. The days in Riga in June were very long, and in a few days I already had a good number of pictures in line of my expectation. But during my movement, crossing the central market, the train station, the bus station, I felt something authentic in the face of people, in the frontage of the building, in the market, and reflecting on what I had photographed that morning. I I felt that I should have continued to work on that suggestion without really knowing what it would lead me to, these kind of pictures. The biggest challenge was having the freedom to make a book as I wanted, and to work with a large amount of pictures. I'd worked other times on books with all my pictures, and sometimes I even made the layout of the books itself. But it was the client who gave me the structure of the book. This time, it's all depend on me. Which photos to use, what style to give to the story, how to divide the chapters, how to insert the beautiful text of Margherita Carbonaro, and in short, how to structure the entire book. I solved this problem trying different narrative ways, trying to balance portrait and landscape and stories for each chapter. And at the end, I divide the book into 5 chapters that representing 5 aspects of city. Your tips for a young amateur photographer. As a long-time photography teacher, more than giving advice to my students, I try to give them courage and self-confidence. To make a project like this, you must first accept failure, and then you do your best to bring home the work that could be very different from what you plan to do. So you have to accept and work with them anyway. Final words. This book is not currently on the market, and during these 2 days of pandemic, it has not been very well known. So I hope to do a traveling exhibition to show this project, especially in this period. In the meantime, if you want follow my work, if you want follow this project, you can follow me on Instagram, on my website, and you can contact me. Okay, thank you, bye.